Hey BookTube, this is Rachel over at Moonlight Library. I'm here to talk to you about the books I read in May. I read 8 books, but I'm going to call it 9 because one of them I primarily read in May and I finished on June 1st. And I'm like, no, because it's one of the Colleen Hoovers that I read. And I'm like, I want to put those all together, you know what I mean? Okay, so I already shot this video, but what was wrong with it? Oh, I was blurry. The entire video, I was blurry. And I was like, I can't use this. I cannot. So here we are again. You can probably see my ring light in my glasses, but you know what? We're wearing the glasses today, so live with it. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. And let me know what you read this month. Or let me know what you think of things I read. Let's go in order of what I read. I have a graphic novel and a manga that I'm going to save for last because I don't really have much to say about them. You'll know later why, when I tell you what I don't have to say. That makes sense. Yeah, you understand me. The first book I read was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So I had never read a Colleen Hoover. I really didn't understand what Colleen Hoover was. I'm not really going to get into that here. You can watch my Colleen Hoover reaction vlog thing if you want more information on that. But let's just talk about this book. This book follows Lily and Ryle. Lily gets in a relationship with Ryle. Ryle is a trigger warning abusive asshole. Maybe you're supposed to like him in the beginning. I could tell from the get-go issues. So it follows both present timeline and past timeline, where Lily is a teenager writing in a diary that is kind of like an epistolary letter format sort of thing that's to Ellen DeGeneres. I was kind of confused by how this was a romance. I think that she puts in the end there's so much abuse, obviously, in this book. This book is about abuse in a relationship. And I was like, why would she write this? And she has a note from the author in the end that explains that the purpose of writing this book was to give a voice to why people stay in abusive relationships for people who have not been in an abusive relationship and might say, why don't you just leave? And it's like, no, it's not that easy all the time. Or no, like it doesn't work like that sometimes. Also, part of abuse is like kind of the changing your brain and making you believe like, oh, it could get better, and then kind of breaking you down little by little. And it walks you through that. It is depressing. It is very real. I did cry a good bit. I would 100% recommend it to anyone interested in Colleen Hoover. I don't know if this is like her regular type. I don't think it's her regular type of book. I think that this is kind of one of her outliers. I think that all of her books have something weird going on that aren't like your traditional romance. But this is like, does not scream romance in general. I mean, the cover kind of looks very romance. Like, oh, I was looking at the flowers. I did about that. So let's move on. I gave that 4 stars, just so we know. The Inheritance of Orquidea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. Sorry, I had to read it off of here. It's so many words. So this is like a magical realism, family inheritance, literally says it, epic family saga sort of book. And was it one of my favorites? No, I think that it was not particularly, I don't know, I just didn't get very invested in this book. It was hard for me to want to pick it up. It follows Orquidea in the past, kind of, and like she has magic powers or something. And it also follows her grandchildren and her family and what happens after Orquidea is turned into a tree, because she contacts them all and says she's going to be dying, basically. And there's like magic and weirdness, and it becomes kind of an epic adventure story in the end. I don't know. I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't something that I think that I'll look back on or remember extremely fondly, but at the same time I did partially enjoy reading it. Like, I liked it, I just didn't love it. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is... Am I moving the camera? I'm gonna stop moving things. Except for right now. Okay, so this is The Hole by Hye-Young Pyun. I don't think I said that correctly, but this is like a speculative, maybe horror, maybe like, I don't know. This guy gets into a automobile accident, a car accident, and he becomes a quadriplegic. His wife has died. He is now being cared for by his wife's mother, and his wife's mother kind of resents him. It is scary. It's creepy. It's weird. There is like, just trigger warning, like a lot of stuff going on here that might make you a little uncomfortable. Whoa. Ignore me, sorry. Might make you a little uncomfortable. It is, that was a wild ride. It's very short though. I gave it a 4-star. Next book up. Wow. Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Did I ugly love this book? No. So this, I think, is the more traditional Colleen Hoover, or like more traditionally a romance. This is not my cup of tea. It is not my style of romance. I like the cuter romances. Yeah. I don't know. I don't usually go towards those like Kindle romances and stuff like that. Maybe if someone gives me some suggestions, I might enjoy trying to give some a read, but this was not for me. I didn't like the characters. I didn't think the love story was believable. The guy has decided that, his name's Miles, that he can never be in a relationship again because something that happened when he was in high school, like a senior in high school, and the girl is like, oh, I'm like so in love with you, so you're following him in high school, and then her in present day falling in love with this guy that I don't think they have any sort of thing in common, or I don't really understand why they liked each other. That's about it. Like, I don't know why they liked each other, and it wasn't believable, so therefore I did not care. I really didn't care. It was a 2-star read. Just boring. I had to listen to the audiobook in the end because I was like, I can't finish this book and I don't want to try and get another one. So that's Ugly Love. Ugh. And I ugly hated it. The House in Ceruelean Sea by TJ Klune. I'm so excited. I finally read this book. I loved it. So we're following Arthur. No, his name's not Arthur. Linus. He's a caseworker. And for like orphanages that have magical youth in them. So this is like kind of a like regular society, but just include magical youth or magical people. But it's like, I don't know, it's like normal, but it's kind of 1984-ish. And at the same, like when you're at his work, and then when you're at like, he has to go look at into this one orphanage that's very classified. And when you're there, it kind of feels like Miss Peregrine's home meets like, the writing is kind of like Lemony Snicket. So you have a lot of things that are kind of like cozy stuff, but also weird stuff like 1984. The characters are so adorable and so amazing and so interesting and so unique. Like, each of them is completely separate and different and beautiful and wonderful, and it is a magical book. I would 100% recommend it. I know I hear it all over everywhere, and I'm sure most people have read it at this point. It's a 5-star book. I think this was my only 5-star book this month. Sorry. So that's that. The next is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. I really did enjoy this one. This is the 4th in the Truly Devious series, but it is the first that does not follow the Truly Devious murders, or mystery or whatever. It follows Stevie, who has finished her first year at the Ellingham Academy, and she is going to investigate a new mystery from the 70s this time at a summer camp that was bought by this rich dude that has a podcast, like a crime podcast, and also sells boxes. I don't know. And so she goes there to help investigate this thing. And of course it's Stevie. It is a one-shot. It is so good. It is complete. Yeah, you will not even believe the ending. I was like, wait, what? I don't know. It was so weird and just unbelievable, but altogether entertaining. I can't wait for the 5th one. Do love that series. Lastly, we have Verity. Verity is Colleen Hoover as well. I feel like everyone and their mother's talking about this one. I have 2 very popular books or actually 3. So Verity follows our main character. Lowen is an author. She's not very well known, but she gets hired on to ghostwrite or like co-author the rest of the series with this author named Verity Crawford. And she goes out there. Verity is completely catatonic. She cannot speak. She cannot move. Nothing. And so she goes out to Verity's house, which has her husband and Verity and her husband's child. Her husband's Jeremy. And she is going to do some researching, and she finds a manuscript that is very weird for Verity's autobiography. I think that's all I'll say about this. Whew. It was a wild ride. It was thrilling. I was thrilled. I was on a roller coaster. Did I love the ending completely? No, that's why I gave it 4 stars, but I did really enjoy it in total. I would definitely recommend it. It is a weird thriller. They say it's romance. I'm not even going to touch on that. Let's not even talk about it. I don't know. I don't agree. Watch my vlog if you want my opinions. Also on how Colleen Hoover names people. Very bad. So, worth the hype? Yeah, I think it was. I've read some bad reviews. I've read some good reviews for it. I don't know. I'm in the category of a good review. I am in the category of a good review. If I had fun reading it, it's a good book. That's it. That's it. Okay, so I forgot to wrap up the graphic novel and comic book I read. Whoops. I started editing and I was like, wait a second. I was trying to pull covers for things. So I read the volume 5 of Goodnight, Punpun, which is a manga series I've been reading for about a little over a year, 2 years. I really enjoyed this one. I'm not going to go into exactly what Goodnight Punpun is because I've done it 4 times. You can look it up on your own. I'll just like mildly summarize. You're following this like bird boy. Like it's supposedly a normal person, but Punpun is also like portrayed as a bird, and so is his whole family. And it also, this volume right now, it's Punpun as like 20 or so. It follows him as he's like growing up. He's a little boy in the first one. It's depressing. It's weird. It is interesting.
It has a cult in it, this one. You're also following some of his friends. You don't see Punpun as much because he is going through a lot mentally, and he's kind of like not an active character because he is very depressed right now in the novel or in the manga. So that is Goodnight Punpun Volume 5. I'm going to start 6 soon, hopefully. I think there's 7 in total. Lastly, I read Crushing. It is a graphic novel without many words. It's about like a relationship, how it starts and goes through it. I gave it 4 stars. I also gave Goodnight Punpun 4 stars. Crushing was just an easy, fast read. I think there's a different rating system for graphic novels, personally. It's easier to get a 4 as a graphic novel than it is as a book for me. I don't know. So that's about it. Yes. Bye.
Okay, so that is my wrap up for May. Yeah, May. I hope you enjoy it. Also, I hope that it's better quality than my last one. Whoops. Okay, bye.